Baylen Dupree's wedding era is officially here, but somehow every joyful moment is becoming another internet investigation. First up, Baylen shared just 17 seconds of wedding party happiness, dancing in her sparkling gown and making sure a guest using a wheelchair was right in the center of the celebration. But instead of enjoying the moment, viewers started accusing Sammi of chasing attention, questioning Baylen's Tourette syndrome, and even criticizing her mother for chewing gum. Meanwhile, wedding planning is exposing a much bigger question about Baylen and Colin's relationship. Colin is focused on flowers, decorations, deadlines, and everything still unfinished, while Baylen says she cannot handle the way he stresses. Are they genuinely balancing each other, or is Colin already carrying most of the mental load? Next, Baylen's pink bridal shower left her emotional and convinced Sammi had completely delivered, but viewers claim Julie and the bridesmaids did the real work while Sammi received the praise. And if Baylen discovers that later, this sweet sister moment could turn into another family conflict. Let's start with the wedding clip that turned 17 seconds of happiness into total chaos. Baylen Dupree posted 17 seconds of wedding joy, and the internet somehow turned it into a full-blown family investigation. The clip was meant to celebrate friendship, inclusion, and one of the happiest moments of Baylen's life. Instead, viewers dissected everything from Sammi's position in the room to Baylen's tics and even her mother's chewing gum. Baylen appears in her enormous sparkling wedding gown, spinning through a circle of guests while everyone claps, cheers, and dances around her. The video carries the words, "This is girlhood," and at first, that message seems perfectly simple: women celebrating one another without competition or judgment. Then, Baylen turns toward a young woman using a wheelchair, whom several viewers identified as former cheerleader Michaela Noble. Baylen does not leave her watching from the edge of the celebration. She dances directly with her, matching her energy as the crowd cheers them on. It is a genuinely touching moment because Baylen makes inclusion look completely natural. There's no awkward pause, no forced gesture, and no attempt to turn the interaction into a dramatic performance. She simply brings someone she cares about into the center of the joy. But naturally, social media found a different storyline. A woman in a yellow dress quickly became the focus because viewers believed she was Baylen's sister. Some joked about Sammi finally finding the right dress, while others accused her of standing too close to Baylen and trying to steal attention from the bride. The problem is that the actual clip does not show Sammi interrupting anything. She appears to be dancing with everyone else, yet viewers began analyzing her body language as though they were reviewing evidence from a crime scene. That reaction says a lot about what reality television does to audiences. Once a family becomes part of a show, normal behavior starts looking calculated. Standing near the bride becomes camera chasing. Dancing enthusiastically becomes attention seeking. Wearing a bright color suddenly becomes proof of hidden motives. Baylen also faced another round of comments about her Tourette syndrome. Some viewers praised her confidence and the awareness she continues to bring to the condition. Others questioned why her tics appeared less noticeable in this particular clip. That criticism places Baylen in an impossible position. When her symptoms are visible, skeptics accuse her of exaggerating them. When they're less visible, those same skeptics claim she must be faking. A short, edited social media clip cannot capture every moment of someone's neurological condition, and Baylen should not have to perform symptoms on demand to satisfy strangers. Then the comments somehow became even more specific when viewers noticed Baylen chewing gum while dancing. Suddenly, people were debating whether it looked distracting, inappropriate, or classless, because apparently even chewing gum can become a scandal during reality television wedding season. Fans seemed divided between those who saw a beautiful celebration and those convinced there must be hidden tension behind every smile. But sometimes 17 seconds of happiness really is just 17 seconds of happiness. Stick around because the next wedding moment raises a much bigger relationship question. Colin is worried about deadlines and unfinished plans, while Baylen thinks his stress may be creating a problem of its own. Colin is worried about the wedding, Baylen is worried about Colin worrying, and that difference may be revealing more than either of them intended. What looked like a simple conversation about flowers and decorations quickly turned into a debate over responsibility, emotional pressure, and who is really carrying the mental load before the wedding. In the latest Baylen Out Loud clip, Colin calmly points out that there's still a lot left to organize. The wedding is getting closer, but the flowers have not been finalized, decorations still need attention, and the list of unfinished tasks is not exactly shrinking. Baylen responds by saying she is glad she does not have Colin's personality because she cannot stress the way he does. She describes them as being built differently and jokingly labels him the main worrywart in the relationship. On the surface, it sounds like classic opposites attract banter. Colin plans ahead, Baylen tries to stay relaxed, and somewhere in the middle, they supposedly balance each other out. But the tension comes from the fact that Colin is not inventing imaginary problems. He is talking about real deadlines for their actual wedding. To him, making lists and handling details is how he prevents chaos. To Baylen, repeatedly discussing everything that remains unfinished may feel like Colin is bringing more anxiety into an already overwhelming situation. Those are two very different coping styles. One person calms down by completing tasks, while the other calms down by refusing to spiral over them. Neither approach is automatically wrong, but trouble can begin when one partner's preparation is dismissed as unnecessary stress. Colin's reaction also made viewers wonder whether he completely agrees with Baylen's description of herself as laid back and positive. He appears patient, keeps the discussion from becoming an argument, and reassures her that they will figure everything out together. That supportive attitude is probably why TLC says they balance each other out. Colin gives Baylen structure when she feels overwhelmed, and Baylen may help Colin avoid treating every detail like a 5-alarm emergency. Still, viewers were quick to defend him. Some called Colin the real wedding planner and said he already looked exhausted. Others argued that constantly assigning one partner the responsibility of remembering deadlines, solving problems, and keeping everything moving can create resentment over time, even when that partner is loving and dependable. Baylen's side deserves fairness too. Wedding planning can be intense for anyone, and managing anxiety alongside Tourette syndrome may make constant pressure especially difficult. Staying calm could be her way of protecting herself from becoming overloaded, while Colin's organization may genuinely make her feel safer. The healthiest version of their dynamic isn't Colin doing all the worrying while Baylen stays positive. It's both of them contributing in ways that match their strengths, without using their differences as an excuse to leave one person carrying everything. Fans are now asking whether this is a sweet example of teamwork or an early warning sign that Colin is becoming the planner, problem solver, and emotional stabilizer all at once. That is viewer speculation, but the concern is understandable when a conversation about flowers suddenly sounds like a preview of how future responsibilities might be divided. Don't go anywhere, because the wedding drama is about to shift from Baylen and Colin's planning tension to a much messier question about family credit. Next, Baylen praises Sammi for delivering the perfect bridal shower, while viewers insist Julie and the bridesmaids may have done the real work. Baylen walked into her bridal shower expecting uncertainty, but the real surprise may have been who received the credit. The room was overflowing with pink decorations, flowers, gifts, and details, and Baylen's reaction was immediate. She covered her face, fought back tears, and looked overwhelmed by everyone gathered to celebrate her. For Baylen, this was more than a pretty party. After all the tension surrounding Sammi's role as maid of honor, the shower seemed like proof that her sister had finally stepped up. Baylen praised Sammi and described the celebration as a home run. She appeared to believe her sister had taken charge, understood what she wanted, and delivered the support she had been hoping for. But the second TLC shared the clip, viewers started telling a very different story. Several commenters argued that Baylen's mother, Julie, deserved most of the praise. Others claimed the bridesmaids were carrying decorations, arranging tables, fixing last-minute details, and doing the physical work, while Sammi mainly appeared after everything was coming together. One viewer even suggested Baylen might feel differently once she watches the full episode and sees who handled the setup. That is only a fan interpretation, not confirmed fact, but it adds an uncomfortable layer to what should have been a joyful moment. Baylen was not simply thanking Sammi for attending, she seemed to believe Sammi had created this experience for her. If editing left out major contributions from Julie and the bridesmaids, then the criticism may be unfair. Sammi could have planned details behind the scenes or handled responsibilities that never appeared in the clip. Reality television can turn hours of preparation into a few selected seconds. The person lifting boxes may look like the hardest worker, while the person who organized the event may barely appear doing anything. Still, the audience's suspicion did not come from nowhere. Viewers have already been watching Sammi closely, so every scene becomes another test of whether she truly supports Baylen or simply enjoys the status of being the bride's sister and maid of honor. That is what makes Baylen's emotional response so important. She was not inspecting the room for perfection. She was relieved. She wanted to feel surrounded, celebrated, and supported, and in that moment, she did. The comments also drifted back toward Baylen's Tourette syndrome, with some viewers questioning why her tics were not more visible during the clip. Others pushed back that symptoms can fluctuate and that a short edited scene cannot represent every moment of someone's condition. Baylen should not have to display tics on command to prove her diagnosis to strangers. The focus should be the emotion of the moment and the family dynamic behind it, not whether her body behaved the way skeptics expected. Fans are divided between those who believe Sammi finally came through and those who think Julie and the bridal party did the heavy lifting. The spiciest possibility is that Baylen may discover the celebration was more of a group effort than she realized, reopening tension just when everyone thought the sisters were moving forward.